be and what to do and what to start. And we're believing that God's really going to do something in this community right here, just like He's doing a work in Tazewell right now. But it's just like, I really feel like Richlands, He's really set my heart toward this place right here. And we're just believing God, just to do a mighty, mighty work here. We're believing God to fill every one of these pews. I'm believing God to just go out into this community, to grab a lot of these guys, to show them that there is a better way, and I know in my own life, now I've been through a lot of stuff, a lot of heartaches, a lot of use of things that I never should have got wrapped up in, but nonetheless I did, and I paid the price for it, and it almost took my life. I got a lot of lost loved ones that's just really hurt me. And with the loss of them, I remember what it's like waking up every day, not wanting to wake up, that the sleep was the best part of my life. All I wanted to do was sleep, because when I woke up, I knew that I was having to face the day, something that I was afraid of, something that I was scared of. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I knew that I was living wrong. I always believed that there was a God, but I was the furthest thing from Him, and somebody kind of helped me out, had people come in my life, kind of told me about the Lord and stuff like that. But anybody can do that, but until you really meet Him yourself and you really get Him on the inside of you, I still can't really explain what's happened to me, because like now, I am so happy. I have joy. I'm so peaceful. I can actually think clearly now. God's put awesome people into my life. He's just been doing amazing works. He's been blowing my mind, in this area. I was in Charlotte for 14 years, and had my own brick mason company. I was a machine operator. I was a good diesel mechanic at Freightliner. I held very good jobs, positions, and stuff like that. But I was the most miserable person that you could ever meet. Because I knew after I got saved, that I wasn't doing what He wanted me to do. He called me to speak on His behalf. I know that. He confirmed it to me. I remember Him telling me that, and I was like, Lord, if you really want to do this for me, if that's really You, then show me. And I was at Teen Challenge in Princeton, West Virginia. All right? I was like, Lord, I don't know of anybody in my family that's ever spoke for You, that's ever been a preacher, that's ever done anything. And that was kind of my faith at the time. I was like, Lord, if You can show me somebody in my family that's done it, okay, I'll do it. And I'll tell you what, about an hour later, I went to the cafeteria. And now at Teen Challenge, we're up on a hill, closed off from everybody. We're not allowed outside, and nobody's allowed inside, unless Jim Nichols just grants special permission for somebody to come up there. And I'd been there for 6 months, used to the daily routine, and I was in my own little prayer time with the Lord, and He spoke that to me, and I just made that request, show me. Well, went to lunch that day, and then here stands Grady McLaughlin, Charlie McLaughlin, James Sawyers. They was all standing. They was just all standing in that cafeteria. And that's the first time I can really say God wowed me. You know what you just walk in there and He's just what you've just prayed. And I didn't really, they're my family. And I didn't know that. I had looked through my dad's side and down my mom's side, and I was looking at all these people just trying to find somebody that spoke a word. I thought everybody. But nonetheless, they were still related to me. And God spoke to me that day so powerfully. I remember walking around the rest of the day just looking at the clouds. And I was just amazed. I was like, God, wow. Wow. How did You know? How did You just made this happen. It just blows my mind. And this right here scares me to death, right? Okay, so I know a lot of people get nervous and stuff when you come in a place. I get nervous. You know, I was the farthest person ever to grab a mic and get up here and speak in front of a group of people. I'll just tell you, that's the way I was. So I didn't do it. And I remember after he told me that, I started praying for my family, like my mom and my dad, my mama, my grandpa, a lot of my uncles, my cousins, because they wasn't nobody in my family, you know, right there. They weren't, none of us knew the Lord. None of us did. And I was just believing God for all these things. And I tell you what, I'd start praying, and I done that, and at Christmas time came around. Got home, I got to go 5 days on vacation. Got there, and I tell you what, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, 2 or 3 of my uncles got saved while I was in. And I mean, God was just moving mightily. I mean, you know how happy that makes you. Have you ever seen somebody that you love and you really wanting the Lord to touch them, to show them what He's shown you? And when God does that, man, it makes you so happy. Well, you know, it's just like in a 6-month period of time, 25 of my family members got saved. Yeah. And God worked through me to get them, you know, to really talk to them. And you ought to see my family now. Well, I mean, we were a bunch of addicts, a bunch of alcoholics, a bunch of gamblers, partiers. I mean, we would go up on the mountain, and I mean, we'd just cut loose. I was playing the guitar at the time. My uncle played the drums and stuff like that. And we would just have our own little concert on the mountain up there, and that's how we were, you know. And we were black sheep pretty much. You know, that's the only way we had ever known. And I grew up to rock and roll music. And I can remember being these little guys' age right here, music just blasting. But it made me comfortable because I knew if the music was playing, they were there, you know, in the other room. And I'd go back to sleep. I'd wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. And as long as that music was playing, I was comfortable, you know what I mean? But if that music wasn't comfortable, I got scared. I was like, uh-oh, they've left. There ain't nobody here. You know, so I know what it's like to grow up in a crazy environment when you're young, and I've seen a lot of things. But after my family got saved, 25 of them, or 22 of them at that time, I got out of Teen Challenge, and Teen Challenge was wanting me to stay there to do an internship, to do a teaching class and stuff like that. It scared me. You know, because really in my heart, all right, as long as my family got saved, I felt like I'd fulfilled my calling. You know, that's what I was meant to do, was just reach my family. And at that time, the whole preaching thing and talking to other people about it, because I really didn't have no love in my heart. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time, I loved my family, but I didn't really know how to talk to, you know, I really didn't have no love for anybody else. And it scared me so much too, so I ran. And I took off to North Carolina. And I tell you what, when I was in Carolina, that's when I was telling you about I was the most miserable person in my life. And the next 7 years was just so bad. But God spoke to me. He told me to come here. He told me to leave now. He said, you leave right now. I was making good money. I was miserable, but I was making good money. He told me, and he spoke it to me so strong that my knees were shaking. I mean, I was literally shaking. I knew if I disobeyed him, something bad was going to happen. I knew. There ain't no feeling like that as when he speaks to you so powerfully that it just makes your whole body quiver. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'll go. And I knew that I was supposed to come here. And I was packing my stuff. And I'm telling you, I left within a 3-hour time period. I didn't wait around. I left. He gave me a vision of my brother. I mean, it was just a vision of him. And he was in flames. My brother was in flames, reaching his arm out to me, saying, help me, help me. You know, and it was just, I was crazy. And I was like, I went up to my brother, and I said, Marcus, and I said, God is telling me to do this, and he could tell because of how shaky I was. And I told him, I said, I believe you're supposed to come with me. And I told him what I saw. And Marcus knows me. He's my brother. And he knows that he believed me, put it that way. He knows me well enough to know that I ain't going to just tell him some kind of hogwash like that. but he came